What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and of course, I'm joined by my co-host, my sister, Dolores, and my brother, Derek.
What's up?
All right, the pause is because I was going to quote something because of Dolores. All right. These violent deeds have violent ends. These violent delights have violent ends. People may get that listen to this. I know my co-hosts do not.
No.
But anyhow, we're talking about something that's a bit less violent than the reference I just made, which is Batman, the animated series, 1992.
That's right. We're coming up on the 30th anniversary of that.
1992.
To break the fourth wall for some of you guys, I was 2 years old.
So I was completely ageless, and we're not going to get into that. Just know that it was 30 years ago.
All right. Yeah. Dolores was some age.
Some age.
Is she younger or older than me? We don't know.
I was in the second grade when it came out.
Yeah. So, wow. But I definitely thoroughly enjoyed the show as a kid. Yeah. And I have to say, going back to watch it now. Oh, I forgot to say, we're doing this because it's like close. You said the anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah, 30th.
The official anniversary is September 5th.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Dope.
Yeah.
So, yes. I have to say, going back to watch it again, it's still enjoyable. Like, this show, it stands up 30 years later.
Yeah, it does. And then watching it now as an adult who can understand more than when it's a kid, you can see just like how deep this show was.
Yeah.
Like, there was things like, this is a kid show, but just some of the dialogue and the topics that were covered is just like, this was more than just a kid show, where I think is one of the reasons why it held up so well. And then also just the work and thought that people put in it. Like, they knew they didn't want to do another Super Friends. Yeah. They didn't want it to be silly or zany or anything like. And I think that benefits the show. Is one of the reasons why it's considered as the best animated series ever. Yeah. Not just for superheroes, but just this is the gold standard for cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of it, because I've watched a lot of our 90s cartoons. I haven't watched them all through, but you know, we talked about watching the Hulk series for She-Hulk. I watched that. I watched Spider-Man. I watched some of the X-Men 97 series. I don't know why it's called 97. It came out before 97.
The new one's called X-Men 97.
I know, but it's weird. But okay.
It ended in 97.
All right, cool. All right, so anyhow, yeah, I watched some of that, and I have to say, this series, animation seems better, the action seems better. Like, I enjoy watching the Spider-Man series, but they had some dumb rule where Spider-Man couldn't punch people.
Which, yeah, but we know what's crazy about that is like all of those cartoons came after Batman, and I don't know why. Now Batman pushed the limit of what was allowed. Yeah, like they were like
they actually, you know, all these cartoons usually have like laser guns. No, this cartoon, they were shooting bullets.
Right. So this was the first time that they had real guns and real bullets, where, like you said, they weren't allowed to punch people, where they were allowed to actually show people getting beat up and punched and stuff. Yeah. And before, in previous cartoons, that wasn't allowed. And if you notice in the cartoons afterwards, it wasn't. But this one with Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and stuff, they insisted that these things be allowed and really pushed the envelope on what was going to happen. And Fox was like, hey, we can't do this and do this and this. And it's like, okay, we'll change it. And then, you know, change it without really changing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's the difference. And it's so weird because like this was the only cartoon, and I still think is, that has done stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it stands to say, out of the 90s cartoons, this one is the best.
Yeah.
It really does stand up. And now, I'm not saying all those other cartoons weren't good. It's just you can pick something that this Batman cartoon does better.
Yeah.
Than those. So like this is a really good one. We watched the Mr. Freeze episode.
Heart of Ice, yeah.
The Heart of Ice.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a good episode.
That was a good episode.
It's such an incredibly good episode. It gives, and one of the things that they wanted to do was, like, they wanted to humanize all of the characters. And so the Heart of Ice takes a pretty dumb character in the comics. He's the guy with a freeze gun who steals jewels. That was Mr. Freeze in the comics. They took that and said, what if we gave him a sympathetic story? And like, this episode won an Emmy. So that's like how it's just like, this was more than just a kid's cartoon for a lot of people.
Even with him winning by hitting him with soup.
right.
I mean, and that's the thing, like, there's still silly stuff where it's like, okay, yeah, this is a cartoon. But there are some things where the tone, where it's just like, that line he says where it's like, he will kill for the touch of another person.
Yeah.
Like, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this stuff is good because my 6-year-old was sitting, he was playing with his Batman toy, but then he stopped playing with it to watch the show while I was watching it. So, like, yeah, and I was surprised he knew who Mr. Freeze was. I don't know where he got this information from.
This is not the first time he's seen Batman. He watched it here.
Oh, okay.
I made him watch it.
Okay. All right. I know he likes Batman, so... All right, so okay, Mr. Freeze is also the voice actor for Mr. Freeze. Man, you gotta love that voice, man.
Yeah, he was, but honestly, all of the voice acting was just top notch.
Maybe he will learn.
Yeah,
this is
Mr.
the price
Freeze
he pays for his incompetence.
He's kind of ruthless.
Yeah,
that's what I was like. Oh, this
He's
dude's
one of
insane.
us.
Perhaps you'll like to join him.
Perhaps you would like to join him.
With the like behind a mask type of filter on it, and it was pretty. And I was like, that's so iconic and good.
Yeah. So since we're talking about that, can I bring up a couple of my thoughts on that episode besides the things we had talked about? But when did Batman have time to build that chamber that saved the henchmen? Like, this big, it's huge. Like, when did you have time to build this?
He was working on it when they started reporting on all these.
He's a one-man shop. That's weeks worth of work.
Everything. Well, we're gonna talk about Almost Got Him too, right? And like, there's some stuff in there too that's kind of the same. Like, why do you have this, and when did you have time to build this?
Yeah, like, I was just like, this machine is really complicated. And he's like, oh, I can save his life. Like, Batman, why do you have this ready to go? So it's just weird. And then I wrote something down, and then I thought, well,
it's because he's Batman.
So the company, Mr. Freeze was turned because they were like, you're using our money for your own experiments, which is, you can't do that. Yeah. But then the guy could have been a little nicer about it. But then I thought, like, they keep top secret files in just a regular old file cabinet. And then I wrote that down. Then I was like, oh, we did just hear something like that, didn't we?
Oh.
Yeah. I guess that is a thing people do.
Boy. Yeah. Probably shouldn't.
You probably shouldn't. But I was just like, just this top secret file just in the top drawer of this file cabinet. Like,
No, I thought it was kind of.
It wasn't a locked room though.
Okay. Yes, because a door is not easy to get past.
His disguise of the security guard was hilarious.
I did think it was kind of messed up because as CEO, like, I get, Freeze you can't do your own secret experiments. But actually, a lot of our inventions come from people doing that. Like,
yeah, but you can't. But technically, if I invent something using my company's resources, it belongs to them.
It belongs to the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I thought was messed up is like, okay, clearly this person is being kept alive by this equipment, and you're like, shut it down. They're like, what are you? Come on, bro.
Yeah, you didn't have to run in there with the security. Just be like, hey, dude, you cannot do this. We're gonna have to let you go or something. You didn't have to destroy the lab.
Yeah, and then just like, well, this one person's just gonna die. But you know what? I believe real CEOs would do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it.
Nora.
Yeah. So that and then my last thought was, where in his utility belt was he keeping that chicken soup?
It's true. That bottle was pretty big.
It was huge.
It was a pretty big bottle. He had a strap. It wasn't in the utility belt. It was strapped behind him.
Then why does he just have chicken soup strapped to himself?
Because Alfred told him.
But like, leave it in the car. He brought it with him to the fight.
I don't know.
Okay.
But talking about the series as a whole again, you have to be surprised about the animation, especially in the earlier episodes. How well that stands up, because like you talking 92,
which is crazy because
it was very well
done
and illustrated.
Because the other there's some thoughts about that, but the other cartoons we mentioned, X-Men, Spider-Man, those animations do not hold up well.
Right.
Yeah. Well, X-Men we know about.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was okay. It was pretty good.
It was okay, but I don't think it really holds up. Like, I feel like this cartoon is just like, it feels like you have crisper lines, bolder colors.
It's at night every time.
Well,
that's the difference. It's always at night,
which they did on purpose.
Yeah.
Which they did on purpose, which is why episodes where it's bright and colorful was kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
This cartoon, it was drawn on black paper and used bold and vibrant colors on top of black paper.
Oh, okay.
And then the other things they did was whereas used like curves and straight lines, where like one half of his arm would be drawn with curves and the bottom half a straight line. So that was kind of another thing that they did for that art style. They didn't really want to mimic the 80s cartoon style with like all the muscles and blah, blah, blah. So they like just keep it simple, tone it down.
Yeah,
and then
this Batman did not have muscles.
Right. But except for in certain scenes, like, oh, he's working out. Oh, Batman's really strong. Right. But they did that on purpose. Yeah. And so that now I lost my thought when you talked about that. What was I saying?
Animation.
Yeah. So they did that. They made it dark and noir, and then they put things into shadows. So all that was done perfectly, and I think that helps it age as well as it did.
Yeah. So pretty good. Before we get to some of the other episodes, I also wanted to talk about the music. Mm-hmm. Now, like this Batman theme is like awesome. Was this taken from 89?
No, this is a new score. It was with the help of Shirley Walker. And one of the great things about this, and not just the score, the opening scene, but the music throughout the show, one of the things, they made a conscious effort of like not always playing music, how, some shows do, where it was only in certain parts where they said like it kind of makes what's happening better.
They do in movies.
Yes. They use a full orchestra.
Yeah, I noticed that in the episodes we watched.
That's expensive.
That is exactly what they said. They said, that's expensive. They said, no, we have to do it this way. Okay. And I mean, it benefits from it, but because before you use a computer and a synthesizer.
Know what I would go to? I would go to an orchestra, like, because they've done this for Looney Tunes, where you go to the orchestra and they play an episode of Looney Tunes and the orchestra is playing to the episode. Oh. I would do that for the Batman series. I would definitely go to that.
That sounds, I would definitely do that. And, but that's how they create the music, too. It was like, they were showing it, because I watched this thing called Hard Batman or whatever. It was talking about, like, the creation of the show. And it's like, while they're playing the instruments, they're watching the episode.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of helps with, like, okay, Batman's falling, so now we need to, make the falling sound or whatever. So I'm like, it's pretty dope.
That is dope.
Yeah.
That is dope. Now we're going to talk about Mask of the Phantasm on another week, but that is this music turned to 11, which is so good. But we'll get to that when we talk about that movie. So I guess are we talking about Almost Got Him?
Yeah. We can talk about Almost Got Him. I really liked it.
I did really like this.
Yeah, episode. That was as a kid, that was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
As a kid.
Yeah, so all the bad guys are around explaining how they almost got Batman. Some of them, I'm like, did you almost get him?
Yeah, they're like, you weren't that close, bro, but all right.
Penguin was kind of close.
Yeah.
Which, okay, so the Penguin one. Like, you had an antidote for
and Penguin
random bird poison?
He had it, too.
Like,
before you apply the antidote.
Also, the little applicator he had for applying the antidote was again bigger than the spots on his utility belt.
Maybe the utility belt expands and contracts.
Oh, okay.
That's necessary.
Or maybe he has compartments in his cape.
In his cape?
In the cape?
Then how is he going to do all the gliding and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't
how
think
is he doing all that
with
all the heavy stuff he has in his utility
What
belt?
are you talking about? Chicken soup isn't heavy.
It's a liquid. It's heavy. All liquids are
You want to feel that all the rolling around and flipping he was doing?
I don't know. But I think one of the most things I like about Almost Got Him is that you kind of see a different level to the characters.
Yeah.
Because they're hanging out, they're talking like they're just like hey, we're friends, we're hanging out, I guess, the evil bad guy pub or whatever.
That the bad guys just hang
That they
out
just
at.
hang out and play poker with.
And I'm pretty sure they weren't like let out of Arkham, so
Yeah.
they all still wanted.
And then the interesting thing, spoiler if you haven't seen this episode, is Batman is in the crowd. And so then I'm like, Batman, they hang out here? And you just like, oh, this is where they kick it when they escape Arkham.
It was just wait till they commit a crime. I guess.
Yeah.
Another crime, because
Yeah.
Right. Escaping Arkham is already a crime in itself.
Right. But yeah, no, I highly enjoy that episode.
Yeah. So Batman was Killer Croc, so I guess that's why he didn't have a real almost got him.
What he hit him with a rock?
Yeah.
I hit him with a rock. It was a big rock.
Really big rock.
The great thing is like at the time I didn't even think nothing of it.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of like I think the reveal that Batman was disguised as Killer Croc was truly surprising. Like I thought it was really just going to be such a simple episode of them telling their individual stories and then that be that.
Yeah.
But for it to turn out like Batman was hiding this so he could figure out where kidnapped Catwoman was.
Yeah.
I thought that was like truly surprising.
Yeah. Pretty good. Poison
But
Ivy.
how was he Killer Croc? Because it was just like they showed Killer Croc under the light and then the light swings.
That's just
back.
for you, which
No,
I thought was kind of
that-
dope.
It was kind of dope,
That's
but then
dope.
I did think, I was like, okay,
He's
that didn't
not-
really happen, right? 'Cause-
No, it didn't really happen. And he's not in his cape and cowl underneath the Croc outfit.
I don't
I
know.
was thinking, how
But
did he
when
make
he
a
started
Croc
fighting
outfit?
them, he
No.
just took the outfit off.
No, he didn't
No,
fight
he-
them.
he
He
didn't
didn't
fight them.
He
Oh,
didn't fight
no,
them.
He didn't. Okay.
No,
yeah.
he
See?
went to the
Yeah,
thing. And
right. You're right. You're right.
Harley
Yeah.
Quinn was there. Shout out to Harley Quinn, who was created for this series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a good character, and shout out to the voice actor
Yes.
for Harley Quinn. Iconic.
Mhm.
Iconic.
Mr. J.
Yeah. So are we still talking about this episode?
Yeah. Poison Ivy. Did you almost get him?
No. She almost killed
Also,
herself.
he didn't even take an antidote for the poison or whatever she had in those pumpkins. I was like, he just put like some kind of mask on and then took it off, and I'm like, so you good now? I guess.
Yeah.
Did you have the antidote in your system already?
It's like an inhaler or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure, Batman. That was a dumb plan from her.
It was. I feel like a lot of them. I was just like, this wasn't great.
Also, like, I was thinking with Two-Face, I was like, why did you go so elaborate?
So elaborate with a giant penny and just all of this.
For it to flip.
Which I thought, but one thing I thought was great was like, it's kind of like, oh, that's how he got the penny. So I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it was unfair. Now, Two-Face, you're supposed to be about fairness. That coin was going to land on Batman.
Because he's
of the
the
weight.
heavier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Physics is hard. Come on.
Physics is hard. Well, I guess for Two-Face, maybe. Okay. All right. Like, oh, if it lands face down, you get crushed. If it lands the other way, your bones just break. I'm like, it's going to land on him.
But he's dead either way.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
He's dead. My question is, how did Batman deliver that giant penny to the Batcave and no one sees it's getting delivered?
Yo, FedEx just comes up to the weight ladder with a coin.
Yeah, like first of all, it's evidence, and then he just and it's huge.
Yeah.
The backplane
The Batplane don't have a cargo bay.
with a rope. Batplane with a rope.
Okay, and you don't see where that's going.
His
They
henchman
don't
is
ever
also
see it.
dead
Ever?
by getting crushed.
Oh yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
coin lands on them.
Oh, yeah, they're super dead.
Super dead.
Yeah.
Super dead.
Hey, in that episode, they even asked him, what did he do with the penny?
Oh yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought it was just even some things where they come in and then they're talking about each other and then Ivy and Harvey is like arguing with each other and then she's like, oh, we used to date, and that did happen
Yeah.
in an episode. I was like, oh, good callback, people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, shout out to Mark Hamill's Joker, which is #1 Joker.
Definitely.
He said, I would say ladies first, but since we're all gentlemen.
Oh my
We'll
god.
start with you, Pam.
Yeah, it's like they hate each other, but they play cards every Friday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great episode, great episode. One of the other iconic episodes they have was Over the Edge,
Mm-hmm.
where gasp, Batgirl dies.
I think what's great about that episode is you start in the middle of the action.
Yeah.
And so while you're knowing like, okay, this can't be real, you also wondering like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you see, like, when Gordon's like, you don't get away this time, Wayne, and he's like aiming to kill him. I'm like, wow, why is Gordon trying to
Right.
kill
Why
this
is that?
man?
And then he knows who Batman is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. They're already in the Batcave.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they kind of gave it away by saying that, like, after that scene, by saying that they were fighting Scarecrow. Yeah, and I was like, okay, so this whole thing is just
they could have saved that to
fear
the end.
toxin.
Like, yeah, it's like after the first 5 minutes, Batman's like, I remember what happened. It's like they could have saved that to the end. It would have made it better because I'm thinking Mad Hatter.
Okay.
Right? Like, who else makes Batman dream weird things but the Mad Hatter?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So then it's just like, oh, you kind of ruined the suspense when it's Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a good episode. It reminds me kind of Mask of the Phantasm when they were all chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good police chase scene.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, good policing. Yeah, and that and Over the Edge, like, dude, when Batgirl fell off the building,
I was like, oof, like she hit the car.
yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened to the awning that usually saves people?
yeah, right, yeah. You hit an awning or fall
Yeah.
in some cabbages or
Yeah,
something.
nah, she definitely fell off a building,
Or a
hit
trash
the
can.
car, and then got ran over by that car, and it was just like, oh,
Why do you
Batgirl's
always do a
dead.
trash can? Like that's not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hitting a trash can is gonna hurt.
it's still gonna hurt a lot. Yeah,
Like, oh, he fell in the trash can. He's fine. No, he's dead. So many times, like I'd be like, oh, they're dead. Batman being punched 5 times by Bane.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, he head on, like not missing a single punch.
Yeah.
well, I was thinking when Batman punched Scarecrow, like after Scarecrow throws her off the building, Batman punched the fool
Yeah.
out of. Like I was like, oh, he's dead. Like you just killed this man.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Gordon being punched once by Bane.
Yeah.
Also dead. Also,
Yeah.
Gordon was hanging on
And hanging with
Way
one
too long.
hand for a while.
Way
Yes.
too long.
Like, man's got some upper body strength, man.
He
and
does-
the finger grips.
he does
Them
finger lifts.
Yeah.
He does finger lifts.
after getting punched by Bane.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. Why didn't you move your other hand up to try and hold on with 2 hands? I don't like. No one was attacking him, and he's just still hanging on with 1 hand.
Maybe his other arm was broken or tired
Okay,
or something.
sure. I'm gonna try and get as much like grip as possible, and then hope I can do a single pull up.
That old man can't do no single pull up.
Well, work.
No. He wasn't getting up after he got hit by Bane.
Nah. Yeah, that fight with Bane, I was like, 'cause yeah, like Batman was like, I'm like, bruh, he doesn't get up from this.
No.
Well, even then, Bane gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
All right,
The
jeez.
venom. Gets
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, he got up from that. That's cool.
I guess.
And he picks up the bat signal.
Yeah. But what I do like about that episode was that, so the end is Barbara decides, I'm going to tell my father who I really am. But what I like about the episode was that just kind of proving what was kind of like assumed in the comics all along is that Jim Gordon is smart enough to figure out who these people are. He just decides not to say anything. So when Barbara tries to tell him who she is, he's just like, yeah, I know, let's just keep that in wrap. Because if you tell me, then I got to do something about it. So I thought it was kind of cool because it kind of shows like the intelligence of him.
Well, I mean, he was a detective at one point too. He is a decorated police officer.
I don't mean
And he's commissioner. Come on.
Yeah.
If he don't know, then he shouldn't have his job.
So you're saying
He could
all
be
cops are
Gordon
smart
from the Harley Quinn show.
Yeah.
Such a good cop.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
could be that one.
So my one thought about this episode: why does that police department have so many rocket launchers?
Yo.
So many
How you know that's not SWAT?
rocket
Oh,
launchers.
there's always SWAT going after Batman, though.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, they
it can't
shouldn't have
be.
rocket launchers, though.
I mean, yes,
They
SWAT
have
goes
a
after
lot.
Batman. It can't be just
Hey,
a
you know,
regular
I wouldn't
crew.
put it past the police department. They be having tanks and stuff for some reason.
Well, we
I don't
saw
know.
the tank bust down Bruce's door. I'm like, well, that's
Yeah.
mean.
I'm like, why do you?
You
why
could
do
have just
you have
knocked.
this?
Yep. They had the police boats ready.
Yeah, they captured Nightwing by shooting 2 miniguns at him. I don't like they show the miniguns firing, and then he comes away captured, and it's like,
I think
Okay.
there was a commercial at that point too, though.
Yeah, it was a commercial break, so you didn't know what was happening.
so
you had to
so
wait
what
13
happened? He got
minutes.
trapped by the bullets. Like,
He did his flippy flips and was
And then he put his hands up like I surrender.
he,
But they shooting on sight though.
he might honestly. I think he probably caught a bullet or two,
by a minigun.
so he has no legs.
I was about to say, so he's dead.
Or have no limbs. If he lived that ordeal, he
Or
doesn't
maybe
have
they
all his
missed on
limbs.
purpose.
Also,
just to
those
scare
were
him.
3-barrel miniguns. That's weird.
Weird in a show that has police blimps, and you're talking about the 3-barrel minigun is weird.
All right, I'm just saying.
Just like literally.
Oh yeah. We didn't make mention of that.
We haven't gotten to that part. I got plenty more about the origin of this show.
Okay.
Police balloons. Yeah. Also, it's like, when does this show take place? I
Okay.
don't...
Since we're talking about it, that is done on purpose. So they call the style dark deco.
No. Okay. Clever.
So the deco style was from like the 40s or whatever, and so they did it so it can kind of be timeless. So you have like the 40s cars and the 40 building styles, but then there's technology to go with it too.
Yeah.
So that is why it was done like that. But I'm like, I think it's kind of great, and it's kind of how Gotham the TV show also has some of that stuff
Yeah.
where it was
Yeah.
kind of like old and timey, and I think they should keep that. I think it's a wonderful thing, and then
So people in Gotham just drive old-looking
Old
cars while
1970s
Metropolis is over
and-
there looking futuristic.
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, because Metropolis be having floating cars and cars that drive themselves.
Yeah, it's like Gotham is like stuck in a time suck or something.
Okay. There are places like that for real. So
Yeah, like
I'll
I
go
think
for
it's
that.
great. Like honestly, I think the future movies, because you think about like the Nolan Batmans,
Yeah.
they don't really have a feel to it.
Yeah. No, it was just Chicago.
It's just Chicago. So like if you throw in like that old,
You know what? The recent Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman,
It
I
did
felt
have a
like it
kind of
had an
old-timey feel.
old-timey feel to it.
But that's because it was a noir movie.
because it was dark.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there are some, like the sun comes up in Gotham, I think.
Nope.
It has to.
Even when the sun's up, it's gloomy.
You would think
They're
they
just
in
all cloud.
Seattle and not
Yeah.
on the East Coast.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think it's great because it's just like, what decade is this? It's like it's stuck in sometime between 1930 and 1992.
Dope. Okay.
I'm fine with that.
I guess it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last popular episode was Trial, which I think everybody knows of, where they
Yeah.
hold a trial against Batman in Arkham Asylum,
hmm
and they try to say that Batman created all the villains, but it gets turned on them.
Yeah, because they're crazy.
Yeah.
Batman didn't
Yeah.
make you crazy.
Yeah. Which is fair. I'm like, the only one he really created was Joker. I mean, he was crazy already.
Right, he was crazy
Yeah,
already,
but, like-
and he was already a mobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then the thing is, like, I've seen these things on the internet a few times about whether or not Batman is a part of the problem. And so, one thing I really like about this is that, like, these people are already disturbed. Like, maybe their antics change a little bit. Now they're wearing costumes or whatever. But, like, I think when Mad Hatter was testifying, and he's like, oh, Batman stopped me from stalking this woman.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's like, well, you didn't have to. You know, you could respect her wishes. And he's like, literally said, I would have killed her first. You're a crazy
Right.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is Batman's first encounter with you.
Yes.
You were going to kill a woman because she didn't want to date you.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Which is
super
real
deep
life.
for a cartoon. That's
Yeah.
just,
It is. Yeah.
that's disturbing.
And that was like what, the 11th episode?
Yeah.
No, that was further down.
So the thing is just like, you know, no, Batman is not part of the problem. He's not really solving any problems, I guess.
Right, but he's not the cause.
He's not the
Well,
cause.
Well, the thing with Batman, and it's his one rule, which I agree with Batman on, but when you compare him to a character like the Punisher, the Punisher actually says that. I think they had that conversation on Daredevil when he was talking to Daredevil, and it's like that one rule you won't break is the reason why they keep coming back.
Well, that's true, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, you figure, okay, these people, they are disturbed. They can't go to regular prison, right? So you got to go to Arkham Asylum, where it says that once they are rehabilitated, we have to let them go.
Which they never get really.
They never really are, because Arkham is super corrupt. But because I also watched that Lockup episode, disturbed. So yeah, so it's like it's just this revolving cycle, and it's like if Batman takes out the Joker, how many problems do that solve? Right? And I'm like, I think it'll be justified because
Wasn't
the Joker
that-
is responsible for a lot of deaths.
Wasn't that kind of the start of Injustice? Right?
Yeah.
Because the
It is.
Joker kind of facilitated Superman killing Lois by thinking she was Doomsday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Superman blamed Batman
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for it. Now, I still agree with Batman. Like, you can... Like, as bad as people are, you can't
Yeah.
kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Batman is saying, like, okay, where do we draw the line where we're no longer different than them?
Well, yeah. I mean, the only difference between Batman and these people is that, I mean, because Batman's a crazy person.
Yes,
you
he
gotta
is.
be.
Which is, I always find superheroes, their villains kind of match them. When you think of, like, Spider-Man, all his villains are science experiments gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Batman has mental issues, and all of his villains have mental issues
Mm-hmm.
of some sort. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you don't kill people, but I'm sorry, beating people to a pulp is only slightly better.
Yeah, I'm like, you breaking all of the bones in his body, but that's cool. You didn't kill him though.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't see that as that great, Batman, but all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what I found surprising about this episode was they actually found him not guilty. Because you figured the judge and the jury, they're all like, the judge was Joker. The jury is made up of, the rogue gallery.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, and then they're like, before the trial started, he's guilty.
She was a good lawyer.
Yeah. I guess she was a really good lawyer. So what got me was, I was like, oh, they actually found him not guilty. Good for them. And then it's like, yeah, we're going to kill him anyways.
Right.
Which
Well,
I was like,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the verdict, it came out, it's like, well, you created him, which is true.
Yeah.
The crime and violence in Gotham is what led to him being created, right?
Yeah.
So the criminals created Batman, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very interesting. So I thought it was cool. And that was another episode that was like silly, but in a good way.
Yeah.
All right, so some of the best episodes from the animated series. Now, you've watched the documentary. We've mentioned some things from it already.
Yes.
Do you have some other things to
I have
touch on?
plenty of things.
Okay.
Plenty. So I did mention how this was kind of something where they didn't want to be like, I think it was probably about 17 or so years since the last superhero cartoon that they had. And this is about a few years after the Tim Burton movie, which kind of, expanded like, hey, let's do this Batman cartoon, which they were working on already. But just that tone of that movie kind of helped set the tone for this cartoon.
I would agree.
And like one of the things they said is like they didn't want this to be another Super Friends.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is great because like we mentioned before, the limits that cartoons had where you couldn't show people punching each other, and which is silly. Like, it's a superhero cartoon. Like, how could they not be shown punching people? It doesn't make any sense.
I never noticed it with the Spider-Man cartoon until I saw someone mention it. Now when I watch it,
It's all you see.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
he doesn't. He just webs people and then, like, I guess swing kicks them.
Swing,
Yeah. So what gets me is I would have think that Batman would have opened a bunch of doors. But it just opened the door for itself. And then when it ended, it closed that door right back.
Well, no, the Superman cartoon.
Yeah.
Well, that was a spinoff. So anything within that animated universe.
Yeah.
But it's like, why couldn't X-Men and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four?
Fox Kids was trash.
But Fox was in charge of this before it moved to the WB.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we got some
Yeah.
thoughts on what Fox was doing.
Fox Kids was
Ruining
trash.
things.
Let's
Yes.
be real. They were
Yeah.
absolute trash.
Yeah. So one of the things where we talked about how this show was allowed to have real guns. However, you weren't allowed to see the bullets actually hitting anyone.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the only
Because
time
their aiming is horrible.
exactly because you couldn't show someone getting
Also, this
shot.
was rated
Okay.
PG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the only time someone has ever was really considered shot was Jim Gordon, but it happened off screen.
Yeah.
Was it that one episode with the violin guy or the guitar guy?
I don't know. I think the name of the episode is "I Am the Night."
Okay.
Yeah. So that was, and there's a little bit more on that episode. And so here's the thing, like the network would send them pages, like, so they submit their episode and the network would come back with pages of things they couldn't do.
Okay.
Like, you can't do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And when it was
That makes
Fox, it
sense.
was like a whole bunch. And then when it went to WB Kids, they was like, yeah, come back with like a paragraph or two. Fox had like 25 pages of stuff, like, get rid of all of this. And so one of the things Bruce Timm said was that whenever the network tried to censor him, he will follow their instructions, but then find a way to make the scene more disturbing. So in an
By
episode,
doing like a shadow of someone getting beat up.
yeah, stuff like that. So in the episode where Gordon gets shot, it was going to be Robin at first. So they's like, no, you can't shoot Robin. He said, fine. So they do it. So it's off screen. So fine. He didn't show Gordon getting shot. He's like, but this was more impactful anyways.
Yeah.
So it was like other things, like a few other examples where it was just like, oh, you won't let me do this? Then I'm going to do this anyways. And I'm going to get my point across without you trying to tell me how to make my show.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was stuff like that. And then since we're talking about Fox ruining things. So at some point, Fox got the idea that kids would not want to watch this if Robin wasn't in it. Which is just stupid.
No, I mean, I liked Robin in it. But...
I mean, yeah, I did.
I
liked
mean,
the Robin.
I liked the Robin episodes, but
Yeah.
it was just like, yo, like, okay, he's not in every episode. He's not in every episode.
Right.
There's an episode in here that's not about Batman.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it got to the point where they were insisting that Robin had to be featured in every episode.
Is that when we get Tim Drake?
That is when they start changing. No, by the middle of the
Batman and Robin.
second
Oh, that's when
season,
the
they
name.
changed it where Robin shows up in every, and they changed the name to The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, this show was so popular, like how you remember, like, oh, I thought this came on Sunday night, because they start showing it on Sunday night.
Oh, so they started showing it on Sunday.
They started showing
Remember
it
that
on
Batman
Sunday night.
Beyond premiere on Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. We got to cover that too one day.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we're going to talk about the universe that this thing started. So yeah, they started showing this on, I'm like, this thing won like a primetime Emmy. Like, yo.
Because I feel like the episode with the robot and like they were like taking it was like a fake episode of the Body Snatchers and they were being replaced by robots. I feel like I watched that on a Sunday night.
Probably.
I mean, this series had some good, like, multi-episode arcs. I remember we had on VHS the Robin arc with him.
Robin Reckoning, great.
Yeah.
Great
Oh
two
my
episodes.
goodness. Tony Zuko. Yeah. The Batman Superman crossover.
Oh, we got
So good.
World's Finest?
Yeah.
World's Finest.
Dude,
Yes.
so for y'all who don't know,
Tape that.
yeah, we did.
take that.
Because it was
Off the TV.
it was another thing, like premiering, and it's like a 3-part Batman episode. So the Superman animated series is a spin-off of this. I'm saying this for the people who don't know, for all y'all youngins out there. So the Superman's a spin-off on this. And so then they did a 3-part episode, which premiered like a movie of Batman and Superman working together, fighting Joker and Lex Luthor.
Yes.
And it was done so well.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it a few months ago, and I'm like, these 3 episodes was so legit. Just so absolutely legit. Just that contrast between, like, straight Arrow, Clark Kent, and then the more looser Bruce Wayne, who stole his girl because Batman's a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, so, yeah, we need to talk about that at some point, too.
Oh yeah.
So dope. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely gotta. Yeah, those 3 episodes.
Yeah. So one of the things where we talk about how, like, the passion that the directors have for this, because they were all comic book fans, Batman fans, so they definitely wanted it done a certain way. But one of the things they wanted to do, they called it a gangster show with a superhero in it.
I feel it.
And I feel like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
exactly
when
what
it
this
comes
was.
to like Batman's villains, when it comes to the mob, like Falcone and forget the other dudes.
Yeah. Well, again,
But
that's
yeah.
what they did for this latest movie.
Yeah.
While I really would say rewatchability is kind of low for me on it. I mean, it was done well in that sense.
I feel like the idea and the concept of the characters that was used in that movie was well.
It was. I think the problem was too long.
Yes.
It should have ended when the Riddler got caught.
Yeah.
That should have been the end of the movie.
Yeah. I would have been absolutely fine at that point too.
Yeah. I mean, even then, the rewatchability would have still been kind of shaky.
Yeah.
But like you said, like the concept of what they're doing is like, I do want to see more of that. Because I think this is the first one. Like when I think of Batman, like the great thing about this show is this show kind of changed how you think in Batman. Like Batman is like, this is the Batman I want.
Yeah.
Which we still haven't really gotten yet.
Why don't we just put Tim Ryan as the head of the DCEU and he put like he be the Kevin Feige?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this kind of set the tone of what we want out of a Batman show, what we want out of Joker, Batman, and Bruce Wayne. And the kill thing is that it's set so high, it's like we don't get it.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, okay, well, it was cool, but
Sure. And then when you talk about like the overall Batman genre, it's like, okay, what's the best Batman? And then it's like, it's Michael Keaton and Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what's the best Joker?
Mark
and then
Hamill.
it's Mark Hamill. And it's like, these are cartoon characters. These are not like actual actors acting these characters out.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it shows on how high they set the bar on this cartoon.
Yeah, like definitely set the tone. And like you said, like this Matt Reeves Batman is like, that tone is there. It was just missing. And I can't say like what exactly was missing, but something about it was missing.
I kind of feel like it was way too long.
Yeah, but for me, I think it's just more than just how long it was. I mean, Batman was kind of dumb, but you know, it takes time to be a good detective, I guess.
True.
Yeah. I mean, but what it was based on, like, even the cartoon movie version of him coming out, I mean, he was dumb.
He's the world's greatest detective. I don't remember Batman being dumb.
In the beginning, he would just figure out a lot of stuff, but he got beat up a lot.
Batman always gets beat up until the last scene. Otherwise, it won't be 22 minutes long.
You definitely be dead. But okay.
Yeah.
So another thing, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but unique to this was that the voice actors were in the same room together.
Oh, I always like when they do that. Yeah.
Because it's like then that allowed them to kind of feed off of each other. It's more than just reading a line. So you have the director, which is Andrea Romano. I'm not sure if that's her last name. Okay. But she's the director. So she describes the scene to them. So then they can read their parts. But they're all in the same room together, sitting there, giving their lines. So if someone pauses or whatever, then everyone else can like react to that. So now it's more than just reading. You're like having a conversation with these people. You're in the room acting out these scenes, which is kind of makes it great because the voice acting in this cartoon is pretty amazing. Like Kevin Conroy, like we said, like you think of Batman, you think of Kevin Conroy. Mm-hmm. Just the tones between them. And he even has said is like, you get into the Batman character, he realized that Bruce Wayne is the facade. Yeah. And he is Batman. And he says, so that's how I approach my voice acting, where Batman is who he is. And Bruce Wayne is the actor. Yeah. And that's how he approached it, which is kind of great. Yeah. And so one of the things Andrea says that like she wanted not just actors, but she wanted people with like kind of stage credits. Yeah. Because they know how to get into those roles differently than just regular actors. Because we have seen, all actors don't make good voice actors.
Right, yeah.
Oftentimes make bad voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes it's also vice versa, too. Like, you can be a great voice actor, but
not a good actor. Yeah.
It's different. ADR is hard, by the way. So, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. Like, everyone can do it. It takes a skill, which is why you do see the same people over and over again. Yeah. Why Tara Strong, who's the voice of Batgirl, does the voice of a lot of other
Isn't that
characters.
Susie? No.
No.
No, Tara Strong.
Tara Strong. She does a lot of DC stuff.
Yeah.
She does other stuff too,
She's
but I
like
can't
Wonder
think of it
Woman
now.
too, isn't she? I'm pretty sure she is.
Probably. Yeah. And then another thing unique to this was that the artists and the writers also worked in a unit together. So instead of me drawing it and running it down, if you're all in the same room together, then you can bounce these ideas. You're right here, right? It says, this is what the storyboard says, how do you write the scene? How do you draw the scene? So pretty dope, which is why I think it hits differently than everything else.
Yeah.
Honestly, people should take this playbook and do it. Because this is how it should be done. So they auditioned 150 people before they found Kevin Conroy.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. They just couldn't find a voice. Then, so we could talk about Mark Hamill. Just absolutely fantastic.
Talk about perfect casting, man.
I mean, it's like you wouldn't even know that it was him.
No, just absolutely, like you said, you think of Joker, you think of him. And the thing is that there's a lot of people who try to imitate what he does, and it's not the same. And he said the first thing the directors told him was, do not try to imitate Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
Just don't do that. Now, interesting, Mark Hamill was the second choice. Tim Curry actually was cast and did 4 episodes before he left.
Okay.
And he was replaced with Mark Hamill.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad for that. It's one of those things,
It's just such an iconic role. Like, if you read a Batman comic book, I'm hearing Kevin Conroy. I'm hearing Mark Hamill.
Yeah, that's
that's the voice of Batman. That's the voice of the Joker.
Yeah, that's how that's what's in my head when I'm reading it.
And then now, like, whenever I watch something that doesn't have those people, I'm comparing it to them, and I'm like, he just doesn't quite hit it yet, or this guy's trying too hard, and they still, like, they have some good Batmans, but they haven't, to me, have not found a good Joker yet.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? I think what you brought out there was important. Like, they told Mark Hamill, was like, okay, don't do a Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
I think that's why Heath Ledger's Joker was so good as well. It's like he's not trying to be the Mark Hamill Joker or Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, this is his take on the Joker.
Yeah. And it was so good. So many of the other ones, like one, I don't know what's his face was doing. Morbius. I don't know what he was doing. But no, please.
That's just weird.
Yeah. And then like you get people like the person, I forgot the guy, he was in Eternals. But
that's the Joker now.
Yeah. And then they had him doing the laugh at the end, and it feels
it feels forced.
Yeah.
And the thing is the laugh is what got Mark Hamill the job.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Which is it's so perfect. Yeah. And like Darren was saying, like, a lot of people try to copy it, and it's just not quite right.
Yeah, that laugh is kind of creepy though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna resist bringing up Master Phantasm, so never mind.
Because we'll talk about it all night. So before we talk about some of the other characters, there was just one more thing. That's like, so the opening scene when it's coming on, and you got the bank and the bomb and blah blah blah. That was actually like a pilot episode that they made to sell it to the networks.
Oh, okay.
So it's scenes from that episode.
Okay.
And then one thing that is unique about it, until Fox start playing around with things, there's no title. It ends with Batman standing on top of the building with the lightning strike. It never says Batman anything. That's it.
Oh,
and it was just, it was like,
I didn't even notice that.
They said exactly. It's like, you know who this is. We don't have to tell you.
It's Batman.
Yeah. So unlike other cartoons where there's like scenes from episodes and your hero blah blah blah, is you're watching Batman in action. And that's it. No theme song, no lyrics, none of that. And I think it's just another thing that just kind of sets the tone for the show. So, characters. So we talked about Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, but also in how they changed the origins of Mr. Freeze, how he was nothing before, and now he got a new origin, and that got added to the comics. But then the show also created other characters. Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Who was
who's now the household name.
Which is the house. Although I really wish stop playing around with her. One, she doesn't need to show up everywhere. Stop making her weird. Like you're doing too much.
She's very popular though.
Yeah, which is why they started messing around with her and just stop. But yeah, like
I do like the cartoon.
She was supposed to be in one episode.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, people really liked her. So and it was like, okay, well now she's gonna be a recurring character.
And since I was a kid, I thought she was already a character.
No. Yeah, I thought it was. I didn't know it was made for the cartoon.
Completely made for the cartoon, and actually, the comics end up writing an origin story for her because she didn't have one.
Yeah.
Which I think her origin story is actually kind of dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was a
Joker's
doctor.
therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A doctor at Arkham.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like, see, if they were gonna do that in the movies, you could see. This is why I don't like where the DC movies go, because they're all over the place. You could make a movie about her becoming Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it would be a good movie.
Yeah, think about it. Like a therapist that gets me. I don't know why I cannot talk.
Yeah.
Yes, I cannot talk today.
Yep.
By one of her patients. Like, how deep? Dude, that's an episode of Criminal Minds right there.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, you already know Joker is crazy as it is. And it's like you're trying to rehabilitate him.
Right.
So it's like, no, you can't.
But my thing is that just shows that, like, she was probably already kind of crazy in the first place. And he found his mark. Like, I can get this one.
Yeah.
That is super compelling and something I would love to see.
That would have been great. But I don't know, like you said, like they just keep messing with Harley Quinn, and I don't know, throwing her in horrible Birds of Prey movies and
just
Suicide Squad.
Well, just even in the comics, they're like, she's showing up everywhere, and it's like we do not need to. Like, I guess she's super popular, but I just feel like they find something that's popular, and then it's like, oh, we need her all the time. No, you do not.
Well, it's like everybody wants to get on the bandwagon, so it's like everybody is trying to do something. So it's like, oh, okay, these people are working on a cartoon. Oh, she has to be shown in the movie, you know.
But it never works. Like, think about it. The same thing with the stupid Fox X-Men, when they decided that the Jennifer Lawrence Mystique needed to be the leader. Yeah. No, she did not.
Yeah, why? Mystique was a popular character, and it's just like...
She was a popular character, and Jennifer Lawrence was a popular actor.
We did not need to ride that hype train.
Right.
Did not.
We really didn't.
Right.
They ended up being
well, they didn't even... Well, Wolverine ended up being horrible because, okay, Wolverine is a popular character, and then Hugh Jackman being the actor,
that could have been fine.
And it ruined that.
It could have been fine if you did it right. Yeah. Mystique was just, don't do that.
Yeah.
Having Wolverine in every movie would have been fine if you would have did it right. I have no idea what they were doing with that X-Men Origins movie. I'm like, whose origin were you telling? Like, it made no sense.
Wolverine Origins was horrible.
I just, like, I'm like, you guys are...
With the claws?
They had to be high. Yeah, so just...
The claws was bigger than his hands.
Like, why would you go away? Like, you had real props, and you said, what if we made it CGI?
Yeah, what if we did CGI?
Yeah. What if you didn't? Just, I don't understand why they think practical effects aren't useful. Just because you have a computer doesn't mean you need to use it.
Yeah. Then I felt like they just had to force the part of him having bone claws. So it was just like, okay, he only has bone claws in these two movies. But that's a whole nother subject that we can run away with.
Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah. So we talk about her. Like, I really like her a lot, but I think right now they need to tone it down a little bit.
Yes.
And then another interesting about a character is the Riddler.
Yeah.
I really like his episodes.
Oh, the animated series Riddler is great.
He's fantastic.
Yes.
Just absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
But here's the thing. He only shows up in 3 episodes.
Really? I remember him so well, though.
I feel like he was in a lot.
Because his episodes are so... But any guesses on why he don't show up more?
What?
Because of the voice acting?
With riddles?
Fox had a problem with riddles?
It's not that many riddles.
Because they said he's hard to write for. Because they have to write riddles.
Yeah.
So they said it just ended up making the episode complicated. Because you
Right.
have to create a puzzle
Yeah.
that Batman has to solve. But it has to be complicated and thoughtful all at the same time.
Yeah.
Unlike in
it
the
has to
movie.
and it has to make sense.
The movie was super obvious what these answers were. Batman. God.
Yeah, but he's not supposed to solve them so quickly.
Then make the riddle complicated.
Also, the Riddler wanted them to be solved, so I think it was a bit different.
Yes.
But Batman couldn't solve them.
That's the point.
That's true. He did.
So
fail.
that doesn't help it. It's either Riddler wants it to be solved or Batman's dumb.
Wow, man, I thought well, yeah, those 3 episodes had to been really good.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just because they said he was really hard to write for because, riddles.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fair enough. So this cartoon started the DC animated universe. Well, not the one that's current now, but it started an animated universe that included Justice League Unlimited, Batman and Superman animated Batman. That's not what it was. The Superman animated series,
Right.
Static Shock, Batman Beyond, which we need to also talk about at some point in the future.
Young Justice?
Project Zeta.
Product Zeta, which I've never watched. Is Young Justice? Young Justice is not in that universe.
No, okay.
No, it's not connected. I don't think.
I thought it was. Because Connor seems. I thought it was. No?
It might.
They feel different. They feel too different to be in the same universe, and they're on different timelines.
Okay.
Unless they're going back in time, but Teen Titans is in it. I don't know. I don't think Teen Titans. No, Teen Titans is not connected.
It's not because Dick Grayson never left for.
Okay, so Batman, Superman, both Justice League, Project Zeta, Static Shock, Batman Beyond. I think that's it.
Okay.
So, which is pretty cool because it was kind of cool, like when these show starts happening, and then it's like Superman's in an episode of Batman. And like I think one of my favorite episodes is when Superman is trying to pretend to be Batman.
Oh, that was such a good episode.
Such a good episode because Robin is like kick the table over, and he's like, "Why would I just kick a table over? Like that's just stupid. Like this, like he's looking like that's beneath me. Why would I ever?"
I mean, he is Superman, so
And Robin's like, "Just do it."
gotta intimidate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think like just perfect. Just those cartoons we named were just solid cartoons.
Yeah. Oh, they all were solid. They were all solid. Yeah. Any more information from this documentary?
No, that was it for the documentary. I just got one more thought on Batman
You were
in general.
right, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of the Young Justice, Teen Titans,
Yeah.
none of that was part of it.
Yeah.
It stopped at Justice League Unlimited.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So HBO was supposed to come out with a new animated Batman series called Batman the Cape Crusader, done by Bruce Timm, who was the guy behind this one.
Oh,
But with the
Tim Ryan, my bad.
Is Bruce
You
Timm.
did.
You did call him Tim Ryan. I was gonna let it slide. But with the new merger and whatever the heck Discovery is doing, it actually got canceled by HBO.
Yeah.
Super disappointing, but they're saying that a lot of other streaming services are interested in the show, so it might get picked up by. How great would it be if Disney buys this Batman show?
But isn't it owned by Warner Brothers? Like,
Apparently-
can Disney do a Batman show?
Apparently, other streaming services can pick this up.
Huh.
They can just buy the rights to that show. They don't have Batman; they have this show.
Okay.
You like we said before.
Well, I mean, they own DC though, don't they? Like Disney owns Marvel.
Yeah, I mean DC can sell the show if they want to.
Okay.
You figure this cartoon aired on Fox first before the WB.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I guess Warner Brothers did own DC. Did they own DC?
I think they
then?
did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they did. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Y'all guys can yell at me later if I'm completely wrong. But my thing is that DC can sell the show to any streaming service if they so desire. Because they're not selling Batman, they're selling the show.
Well, that'd be interesting. I don't know if they would want them to if they're making their own thing. And it seems like Discovery Warner is trying to do that.
They're not making anything. They're just canceling stuff.
Yeah, so that they can start over.
It's a cartoon. I don't need your cartoon connected to anything. Just give me the cartoon.
That's true. They could have just done the cartoon. I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing besides ruining stuff. As always.
Well, Shazam and Black Adam got pushed back. And I'm like,
Okay, just don't show them.
they're gonna be canceled.
Just don't show
they're gonna
them.
be canceled.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, Batman the Animated Series. Like, just you guys heard us squeal over it for the past however long. Such a great animated series. If you're young and in Gen Z in your 20s or whatever, and you haven't seen this, check it out. Like, it definitely is like one of the best cartoons to come out. You can compare it to your Batman cartoons, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched them. But
Can we talk about these other Batman cartoons for a quick second before we wrap?
okay. All I remember was it Brave and the Bold?
People says I cannot with that cartoon. They say it's really good and it's underrated. I cannot. Honestly,
Apparently they said the Batman was good, but I couldn't get with it when I was younger.
I tried rewatching it. I just can't.
No.
One, I hate whatever the heck they did with the character styles.
Yeah.
Just no. I don't understand why Batman got this weird pointy triangle chin and it's sunken in. Look, Batman is a rectangle. Everyone in Gotham is also rectangles. Stop messing with my rectangles.
No, Dolores likes rectangles.
Just it's weird. I hate it. I do not like that cartoon. And people like, oh, it's underrated and it's really great. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now, one thing I am going to watch is Beware the Batman, which people said that is actually really good, but didn't get a good chance because people hated the style of it. So I might check that out.
Now, was Beware the Batman the most recent one?
No, that was the CGI one that they did.
Oh, I can't get it because there was like a CGI Spider-Man, no Iron Man.
Yeah, there was
supposedly
CGI.
good. I can't watch those CGI.
That's just why no one liked the Beard. They said it was a good cartoon, but everyone was just like they hated the CGI so much.
Just hand draw it, please.
So they end up canceling it.
I feel like the only cartoon that made it with the CGI was Star Wars Clone Wars.
But see, no one cares if Star Wars is a CGI. It wasn't a cartoon verse.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't disturb me.
Yeah. It's completely different if non-Spider-Man is in CGI. Do not do that.
Yeah.
Please.
Now, I did like the Batman
No.
cartoon.
You did?
No.
What about Batman Samurai? Is that what it's called? The anime Batman?
That's just a movie, isn't it?
Is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is a movie.
I think it's just a
Okay.
movie. Yeah, no, the Batman's not good. I tried.
I like
No.
the Batman.
No,
Not good.
With Katana being his sidekick.
Katana was his sidekick?
That's not the Batman.
That's
Which
not
one
the-
was that
the
one?
Batman.
You're thinking of Beware of the Batman. Katana was not his sidekick in freaking the Batman. Because in the Batman, Barbara Gordon shows up before Dick.
Yeah, that's
right. Okay,
disturbing.
I'm getting them mixed up. Yes. Okay. No, I did not like the Batman. Beware the Batman was there. Yeah. Yeah, no, the Batman was so.
Thank you. That's
So,
what I said
no.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Batman the Animated Series, definitely the best version of Batman that we've gotten.
Yes,
Hands down, out of all live action and cartoon,
it is.
this is the best version of Batman. Yeah, so we obviously like the cartoon. Best show ever.
Yes, absolutely.
10 out of 10. Great job, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah, definitely one of the best shows. I do wish they'll take some cues from this for future cartoons, which I guess I don't watch new cartoons that much.
Because they're not good. Because
Yeah.
everything, like how they made an effort not to make this cartoon childish.
Yeah.
For some reason, and again, networks stop thinking. Seriously. It's like they wanted to make everything cartoony and zany. Like when we had the Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Oh, man, so good.
Great cartoon. It's good.
Yeah.
It's no Batman, but great cartoon, good. And then someone decided it was too complicated.
Yeah, they did go on this route of cartoons have to be sillier,
Yeah.
which I don't get because kids still watch them. They didn't have to be sillier.
Yeah.
Like Teen Titans, for example, we got rid of a pretty good Teen Titans. Now Teen Titans Go is funny. I will get them that, but
Yeah.
we had a really good serialized cartoon, and we got rid of it just for the sake of being stupid.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, you got rid of Earth's Mightiest Heroes to get to the Avengers another.
I haven't watched it.
Whatever it is, it sucks. So, and the thing is like, and the reason was like, oh, kids won't be able to follow a connected episode or blah, 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 or it's too deep.
We've been
And
doing it
it's just,
since the 90s.
we've been doing it. It's so weird. It's like these executives, like when they force Robin in Batman,
Yeah.
it's like, yo, leave well enough alone. Like, kids are smarter than you think they are. And it's just like we went from something that kind of treated kids like they have a brain to everything being slapstick and funny, which is why I don't like that Spider-Man cartoon, the one where he's a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., because it's silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But then even that still had some, like, it still has some serialized content, like Earth Mightiest Heroes. But then they canceled that show for
something
stepping it down again.
Yeah, and it's just like, just stop. Like, literally just leave it alone. So yeah, like, no, when we say this Batman is still the best, it is because people keep getting into their head that everything needs to be dumbed down because apparently kids can't think.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how this new one goes.
There is no new one.
Yeah, it's not so far there isn't, unless another network picks it up.
Yeah.
If it does, I bet it's like Netflix or something.
Yeah.
Yep. But with that being said, that is our thoughts on Batman the Animated Series. You could tell us what you thought about it. It should be the best show ever. You can't have anything negative to say about this show, because if you do, you're wrong. I mean, you can have your opinion. Opinions, everybody has their own opinion, but you're wrong about it if you don't like this show. I'm just letting you know. So you have your opinion, but it's a wrong opinion. So with that being said, yeah, make sure you leave a like and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching, and we will catch you next time.